traversing the strange world of peace and Toodles.
We're recording. Just like that.
Well, hi there, folks. Are we recording, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
It's the intro. Because we don't have it right now.
Is it going right now?
Yeah, it's recording.
Well, hi there, folks. Welcome back to another episode of
Traversing
The Strange
World
with Peace.
and Toodles.
And we are back here once again as the three amigos with Mr. Steeley Sawyer in the house.
What is up, everybody?
Steeley Sawyer.
So today we're going to be discussing folklore surrounding demons, devils, and trickster gods.
And deals made, communications initiated.
With the devil.
And these demons, this influence.
With-
Steely's getting quite a reputation of content around here. Let's see, we did hell, and then the apocalypse.
Now the devil. We probably should, I haven't talked to you about this, but I think it, as like counterparts to these episodes, we should do one where we talk about creation instead of the end.
And heaven.
Something
and
happy.
angels.
Heaven instead of
Hell.
and then I was going to say Jesus and angels rather than the devil and demons.
That's a good idea.
That would be fun.
Yeah. All right, so we will hop over to our first segment of the show, the Ponderings of Peace and Toodles.
Updates
Ponderings.
of peace.
No, you forgot reflections. Reflections.
And erections
Mm-hmm.
of peace and Toodles.
No shortage of those.
It's a sausage party in the studio today.
So what have you fellas been
Jeez.
pondering lately? Been a minute since Mr. Steely's been in the studio with us.
I was pondering something else, but now with that talk, it's not where it should be. No.
Oh no.
Let's see. Before we started, I wondered why some people dream in color or some dreams are in color and some are in black and white.
And I replied, some people dream in black and white? Question mark? I've never dreamed in black and white.
And I was listening with inquisitiveness and curiosity and swag. You know,
Yes.
those normal things.
Can't leave the swag out. The holy trinity of value would just be not full if you left out the swag.
So black and white dreams as opposed to color.
Have you ever had a black and white dream, Jonathan?
Not that I remember. Everything that I've dreamed seems pretty normal, just, you can't run.
I feel like I've had dreams where, like, the picture's almost the resolution of, like, a video camera from, like, the 90s, home videos.
Yeah, when I remember my dreams, they kind of have this, like, haziness.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
Well, obviously, it's a dream. It's not quite reality. But then there's other moments where,
It's like you were
from my
asleep.
childhood, there's some memories that I literally think, like, was that a dream or was that real? Because I don't remember.
Interesting.
I had a weird incident. It was a few months ago where I was like, I'm going to start a dream journal. And I was not regularly dreaming at all. And then I dreamt like 5 days in a row. So I was like, could that have had something to do with it?
I started writing down my dreams too, actually. I had enough weird ones, but like also connected ones. I was like, I'm probably going to forget. Because like you can wake up and that's the time you like write it all down. Because like I've tried to write it down like 10 minutes after waking up. I can't remember a thing except for like one little scene of it.
When you guys were smoking weed, you don't do that anymore.
No, not currently.
Okay. Do you remember you having dreams that you remembered?
All smoking?
Yeah.
I don't think that affected my dreams at all.
It's a thing out there that they say that you don't. So that's a byproduct of smoking weed is if you do it enough, you don't remember your dreams.
I think in my heyday, I remember not dreaming at all, except for maybe like 4 times in an 8-month span.
I've never been good at remembering dreams. Like, during and after the weed days, I don't really think that it was any different. Like, it's
Really?
still a struggle to remember, but it's always been a struggle to remember. And, like, I remember that from high school, too. Like, I'd tell people about dreams, and, like, I can only say so much, because, like, all the details were gone. It's just, like, the who and where is about all that's left that I can remember. But all the little details, like what was on the shelf, or these other people in the background. So I can't remember that stuff. Like, I can if I write it down. As soon as I get up, like, it's all right there and fresh. And
Same.
usually you're, like, closing one eye, trying to fight sleep while you're writing it down. You wake up and read it, and it's half gibberish, but then you can rewrite it because you know what you meant. But, like I've had times, like, I've woken up from a dream in the middle of the night. I just grab my phone real quick and type it in there, what happened. And then I'll wake up in the morning, like, I think I had a dream last night. And I think I wrote it down. I'll go on my phone, I'll read it, and I'm like, oh, yeah. Dude, otherwise it would have been lost forever. Like, I wouldn't have
if you don't write
remembered.
it down right away.
Yeah. But it's always been like that. Like, ever since, like, as early as I can remember.
I feel like I'm dreaming most of the time when I'm asleep, but I never remember my dreams.
I usually dream when I'm asleep, too. It's not really when I'm awake.
Some people do. What about you, Jonathan? What have you been pondering? We got any updates?
I
I
think I mentioned this not too long ago, but, like, just, I've noticed a lot of times just sitting somewhere, like, in here by myself, and I'll, like, kind of start meditating, like, just clearing the mind, control your breathing, think about stuff like that, and I don't know, it's, like, back to that thing where it's kind of like mushrooms, you know, that weird things that they do to your vision before you, like, full on go tripping.
Yep.
It's like you kind of can get to that point through meditation and just intent
Yeah, you
focus.
talked about that last time.
Like, the other day, we drove back from the fair, and
You're meditating while driving?
No, I was just sitting in the car once we got back, just kind of staring at the
Dangerous
wall.
business, bud.
And just daydreaming, bruh. Like, literally, we got back in the garage, I got the kids inside, I sat back in the seat so I could grab my phone. It was on the dash, and then started thinking about something. I was just staring at the wall, and Raina came in, like, maybe 2 or 3 minutes, later, and kind of snapped me to attention, like, oh, yeah, go hang out with her, but for those, like, 3 minutes, I was kind of watching the wall move a little bit as my eyes got tired of staring at it.
The zipper appears on the wall.
And I was like, I don't know why it led to me thinking some of these things. Like, I just contemplate a lot about, like, eternity and what death is going to be like, and, like, just pondering, like, where would I be right now if I, never let X, Y, or Z happen, or what if I did that? For some reason, those thoughts of just, like, I'll forget and just lose myself in thought and just sit somewhere, thinking about that stuff in a meditative state that it used to take me a long time to get into. But now it's like, in probably like 30 seconds, I can snap myself into that state. So I guess practice is making it more efficient.
I'd agree.
But
practice of anything, it's just like a state that you're more used to getting into.
Mm-hmm. What I'm contemplating is the benefit of it. Because at the end of the day, it's kind of just, I enjoy doing it. I enjoy thinking about some of those things, and kind of gives me some clarity on, well, maybe I should do this next. Yeah. And that's like why I started the TikTok for my music. That's why Nate Visen started his, because
I didn't know you made music too.
The fear of man that I was always talking about, like how that's always held me back. It's one of those things that I was thinking about in one of those moments, and then, you get to, okay, conclusion. What do I do about this? Well, if I'm thinking about something that I should do, and I'm not going to do, I'm just going to make it right now. So I did. I just made it right in the moment, because that's one thing I learned from Andy Frizella's podcast. The best applicable advice that I've ever gotten from that guy after years of listening is when you think about something that you need to do, or that you want to do, that's the moment when you do it. You're laying on the couch, get home from work, get on your phone, you're doom scrolling, right?
Yep.
And you think, oh, I didn't do my workout yet today. That's the moment you go and do it. And I don't know,
I've also heard it said that, like, if
Putting
you
that
think
into
of something that you need to do that takes less than 5 minutes, just do it when you think about it. Because why not? It takes less than 5 minutes, and you'll probably forget about it later.
making a new YouTube channel, an easy one.
What do you mean?
There's this game I play on my phone that I'm kind of a beast at.
What's that?
It's the Snake IO. It's like, you eat the dots, your snake gets longer.
Oh, yeah.
I started playing because me and Raina download like random games every now and again to, try to kill each other.
Yeah.
And that one, after like playing it for a day or two, I was like, I can't be beaten. Like, nobody's beating me in this. Like, I'm playing online. Like, I'm always, like, I might die a couple times on the way up, but once I'm like over a certain length snake, dude.
I got,
I quit when I get bored.
I don't
not
know
when I
about
die.
video games, but I got somebody for you to play a board game with. It could be Risk or another strategy game.
Chess?
It could be chess, yeah.
How about Connect 4?
I'm not talking about myself.
You couldn't beat me at Connect 4.
I know. Board games never have been my strong suit, but this person, I have never seen him lose a board game.
Is it
Including
Dustin
Monopoly?
Schwartz?
Including Monopoly.
Brother.
Wait, it's not Dustin Schwartz. Oh. Not Dustin Schwartz.
My win streak... Dude, I'm probably 99% wins at Monopoly. Let's go. I challenge your friend, not knowing his name, right now to Monopoly.
It's Derek, my brother.
Fair and square.
Shout out to Derek.
Don't
Dude,
modify the game.
He's
Don't
pretty brutal.
customize
He's
rules.
pretty brutal when it comes to board games.
We'll play house rules. Or not the book. By the book rules. And we're not going to waver from it. As
I'd
the game
say
is meant
Risk
to be
or
played.
Monopoly.
Oh, I'll beat him at Monopoly, bro.
What about Risk?
I've never played it.
Oh, I see. I think he's played Monopoly, or you guys could play classic chess. You know?
I love playing chess. I'm not that good at chess, though. I can see, like, 4 steps ahead, but... Dude, there's the pros, like, you see 20 moves, ahead of where you're... Like, I can't really comprehend that far.
I know.
But after, it's about 4 steps apiece that I can see ahead and evade danger or try to make an attack. But other than that, chess isn't a strong suit. It could be, I'm sure, with practice, but I'm not practiced.
Well, okay. Well,
See,
I don't know if he has to practice chess. But...
I haven't played Monopoly in years, but I am 10 out of 10 confident.
I'll set up the fight.
I might eat my words, but Derek, here and now, what number episode is this?
32.
Episode 32. I challenge you. Monopoly. Original edition. 2 out of 3.
He'd like to do an episode with us, so we should. You guys probably should play the game before
We'll
or
play
after
it
the
while we're
episode.
talking.
After the episode.
We'll play it while we're talking.
You could time lapse it and then upload the game to YouTube as well.
True.
We'll see how he can multitask.
That actually would be a cool vibe, yeah.
We could, dude, that could be our first video one. We could have, like, us playing Monopoly. We'll have, like, a split screen. We'll have one with our 3 faces on one side.
I'll be the video. I'll commentate on every
and
move.
then the other side, we'll have, like, a top-down camera of the game.
Wait, what?
We do, like, a split camera. Like, half the screen's our faces, and the other half's, like, a top-down of the game board.
Down, all you see is the hands and the board.
Yeah, exactly. Derek, don't think you can beat me.
Wow, this is like a UFC fight. It'll be our
Fond
first...
memories of those.
Go ahead, good.
Oh, UFC fights used to go to Phil Brothers for those.
Oh, hell yeah. Yep. Fight night. All right, well, I'll share what I've been pondering, and then we'll wrap up this segment. Been seeing the same therapist for about...
What kind of therapist?
Just kind of a talk therapist, counseling things and whatnot. I wanted to get to the bottom of my motivations, why I am the way I am, to just understand myself better, understand why I do what I do more thoroughly. Something we've been talking about is I want to get down to the bottom of, like, sometimes it's very hard for me to be in the present moment because I'm a very goals-driven person, and I'll, like, I won't let myself chill. I'll always be thinking about the next thing I need to do, but also I'm always many times thinking of anticipating the next thing while I'm doing the thing.
Dude, me too.
And she said that mentality is very driven by a should mentality. And she said it shouldn't be should all the time necessarily as much as I want to do this. I'm enjoying doing it. And, it's just a time and a place for the shoulds, but shouldn't dominate your whole thinking. But what were you about to say, Jonathan?
Nothing. I'm in agreement. I'm in the same place. Like, I was just going to give an example. Like, like you're playing board games with the kids.
Yeah.
And you're thinking, like, you're thinking of song lyrics.
Yep.
Or you're thinking of, I gotta go fix that electrical taillight problem I got on my Harley right now. Or,
And then there's a sense of guilt for having fun with the kids.
Yes.
Yep.
And even when you go start doing the thing, there's other things that you should do, too. So, like, I'll come in here and write down the song lyrics. And then instead of thinking of the next lyrics, it's like, I gotta go out and work on that stupid bike, man. Like,
She's a talk therapist. She's not a psychiatrist, so she can't diagnose me as OCD, but she has said that she thinks that there's strong signs that I have some type of OCD. Because like there's a feeling of guilt associated with the shoulds. Like if
you're probably autistic.
I'm pissing my life away. I'm pissing my life away. That that goal that you have for the podcast to take off. Well, you're chilling and having fun, and you should be
all day long at work. Better example, I think of that. Like, man, dude, I'm sitting here in the stupid semi truck, driving it around, sitting there waiting on load. I'm like, studying the music that I like to inspire my own, and then write some lyrics while I'm sitting there waiting. And I'm just like, man, dude, I gotta get out of these trucks. It's like it's eating all my time away. But you gotta make money.
She encouraged me to get back into mindfulness meditation because I told her I did have some experience with it. And I have been kind of finding opportunities just in various moments to take a second, breathe, clear the mind, take in the environment, take in the situation, just kind of stay there for a while. And I will say lately I have been able to enjoy the present moment more. But that's something I'm trying to work on and trying to get to the bottom of is...
Do you think about stuff that you need to do while you're having sex?
No.
You're sitting there with your wife.
That is one thing I fully give myself to in the moment.
Yeah, that's the best meditation. No.
It's a very, it's a very meditative state.
I have similar, like, I don't have the depth of musicianship as old Toodles here, but even with, like, my
Grandpa
bass...
Toodles. I said Grandpa Toodles over there.
But, like, with my bass or, like, pedal board, or, like, I filled in today at a church, and I had tweaked some stuff, and so I had to ask, like, 4 people. I'm like, what did you think? Did it sound okay? And there's been times where if I'm trying to fiddle with something, I've almost had anxiety attacks, like, I can't get that exactly what I'm thinking in my head. And then I'll be sitting upstairs with the family and stuff, and my wife's like, what are you thinking about? And I'm like,
that bass
stupid bass. Yeah, like, just stupid stuff like that.
I've been debating civil debates with some people on the web, and she was telling me something yesterday, and I was having a debate with them in my head, anticipating what I was going to say. It's just like, we all must have something similar with our brains to where it's just the damn things come intruding in, and
I think it comes to that point when you realize, like, the life that you want is actually achievable. And you go down the road of learning that it's just a matter of time and effort. Yep. It's like old Andy's thing of baking a cake. I think I mentioned his story on here before. You got all your ingredients. You go Martha Stewart, the best cake recipe you can get because you want to make the best one. You get all the ingredients to make the cake, then you put it in the oven. And
you shared this last episode.
400 degrees for 40 minutes. And you're like, well, I'm going to put it in at 800 degrees for 20 minutes and it'll come out faster, ignoring the part of patience.
Process.
aggressive patience is called. You put in the work, and then there's an aspect of time that you can't work around that it does take.
You just sit there
And-
waiting like,
No, I mean like putting in effort while you're
yes.
while you're waiting for something to cook. You know,
Use
for
that
lack
time
of a better
usefully,
word. Yeah.
constructively, yeah.
What else can you do while in this waiting period? You know, like the music. I got the songs. I'm releasing the songs. I'm trying to market the songs, but I still have to wait for those people to come. But while I'm waiting for that to happen, I'm still in here making the next stuff for after that.
I always feel like there's something that I should be doing with the podcast that I'm just not doing in terms of like spreading it, promoting it, whatnot.
And I feel like my day job takes away that too. And then you're left with like, well, I know that all these things I do on the side could potentially make the money to live off of, but they don't now. But it's hard to put in the time to get them to take off with this job. So, you know, like, do I go to a 40-hour job instead of a freaking 80 like what I got now? Or do I do like a, you know, do I just go to a part-time job and just live on crumbs and then I got tons of time for the music? You know, like,
I think your music.
hard balance to find sometimes.
I don't think the work though is taking away from the progression of your music. Your music's still progressing though, and your
No, I mean, like, there's a
upcoming
lot.
album's still better than your last album.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But that was also because I had a lot of time at home where I'm sitting here and making those songs. When I don't have a lot of time here at home, then they come slower. I don't know.
See, like with me, like I almost feel like when I'm not working, my creative ideas don't come as much to where when I'm out, when I'm doing something active, moving, it like gets the brain juices flowing.
There's a warm up period too, you know, like with writing, well, guitar too. When I'm practicing guitar, that first 10-15 minutes, it's kind of like it's real stiff, and you're gonna miss some notes. And once I'm warmed up, dude, I can shred.
Yeah,
It takes a little. And creative writing is the same way. Like, I can write maybe 4 or 8 lines that I'm just gonna scrap, and all it is was the warm up to write the next little 4 line.
Almost-
That's all it was. I wrote, you know, maybe 16 bars to come up with those last 4 that I'm actually going to use, but those are good, and it just takes some time.
Needed to sit there and pluck the strings a little bit to summon the muses. You know, they need to hear it coming.
There's not enough time to write those
Play the ringing bell.
warm-ups or to play those warm-ups when you're working all the time.
Yeah, you get better
And
when you're.
you come home, and what you like, my schedule's tight enough that when I come home, the amount of time that I put into the stuff here directly determines the amount of hours I get to sleep.
Yes.
So it's like, do I want to write for another hour and then go down from 6 to 5 hours of sleep, or like, it's pretty tight. Very much considering a different line of work, but it's pretty good money, you know, once you've been doing it for long enough and you work up through the pay a little bit. It's like, do I want to go back and potentially cut my income in half by doing something else? Like, I don't know.
Will Toodles do something else?
Anybody hiring?
Will he?
No.
Will he find more time to make his music and to find time to make those warm-up songs that summon the greater songs? Find out.
I thought about going to this old job that I used to have that I know the dude would hire me, but it doesn't make that much. It's 40 hours full-time, 4 days a week. So there's 4 10-hour days. Oh, man, those 3 days off, when I'm thinking about it, it's like I'm already working over 10 hours a day for 6 days a week. So if I can cut that down to 4 days a week, I'm still full-time, still get all those tasty benefits and insurance and stuff. But it's just the time that it frees up.
I get that. I think it's easy. Like, I don't mind. I kind of like the staying busy all the time, but at the same time, it's for my own business, you know?
Hey, so with that being said, make sure you comment on the show and follow and subscribe and share it with somebody else. Tell somebody about it, because we'd like to do this a little more full-time.
and if you can, watch it on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, because we actually have paid ads on those now.
And check out Nate Visen on Spotify.
I think Spotify uses AI to determine ad placements because the amount of time it like perfectly falls in a sentence of like, and like we're talking, and then it's like we're going, and then it's like going to the mall, like you need car insurance,
I was listening to our one about hell the other day after my friend texted me and said that you guys sound a lot alike. And I was noticing, like, man, there's a ton of ads in this. It's ticking me off.
What are you talking about? I don't sound like Isaiah.
Yeah. I was gonna say, drop a comment on if you can tell who is who right now.
Like, when I'm listening to it, I can tell, like, easily. Because I know us all.
I was gonna say, I can tell my own voice, but my wife was like, you were saying some crazy stuff. Like, it wasn't me.
Oh,
I was just
really?
kidding. No, I'm
It's
just
Isaiah.
All right, well, that was a little alarm. That means that we went way past our time for the pondering segment. So let's move into the meat of the discussion.
The girth of the episode.
Let's start stirring up the strange stew and get it simmering. So, yeah, today's discussion is going to be about El Diablos. The devil. Satan.
Lucifer. Lucy.
So, what do you guys think about that devil guy? You guys believe?
I mean,
You guys believe in a
I
devil?
think he's kind of a dick. Tempting people. Freaking sending hellhounds out to eat them.
I would say I lean towards a conceptualization that kind of summarizes maybe a side of humanity we don't like.
What about you, Jonathan? What do you think about that devil? Oh, Slewfoot.
Well, it's hard to say if it's a person or a force, because
No, you're fine.
we're sitting here, you know, we talk about God the same way. Force, person, being. No.
Don't worry about it. I was just... No, don't worry about it.
Just take some more slack.
I've caused trouble every time I'm here with the microphone, I think.
True.
Hard to say, man. Devil, is he a force? Is he just not just like the opposing force of good? Is he hatred? Is he personified as something? Is he a being? Conscious? Hard to say. Father lies.
And we
That prowling lion looking for someone to devour.
going to and fro throughout the earth. We all do come from the old traditional way of seeing Satan, you know.
That was quoted from the Bible, by the way.
Mr. Yes, I believe Ephesians.
Yeah, somewhere in the epistles.
Yes. You know, old winged, horny devil with his pitchfork.
Does he have wings? Does he have a forked
It's-
tongue and a pitchfork and a tail? And
Certainly isn't a description of him that way in the Bible.
where do we get that imagery from?
Dante's Inferno?
I was going to say, I think a lot of our modern conceptualizations, the combo of Renaissance art and Dante's Inferno being pretty, or the Divine Comedy being pretty monumental.
And I don't think, like, the look of it, it was, like, there was a lot of inspiration from, like, European, like, folklore and demon folklore to where that wasn't even necessarily maybe, like, a Semitic idea of him looking that way. It was more inspired probably by European art and whatnot.
Yeah.
That,
think-
yeah. But, you know, we see the devil depicted as... In the Old Testament, we don't see him as a force opposing God. You won't find that anywhere.
It's a force kind of just living with him.
Mm-hmm. Almost like
Existing.
in submission to him in some cases, you know. The word Satan is actually Hebrew for adversary, and it's commonly used in the Old Testament more to talk about your, like, David referring to his, like, physical enemies of the world.
Well, he walked right up in, or Satan walked right up into the council of God in Job.
Job, yeah.
So obviously he's got some kind of power, as who knows what he is.
But then we see in the New Testament this distinction, this difference between where he's like now this Lord of Darkness who opposes God above, and well, They're in a battle for your soul, and
Was he an angel?
who?
Satan.
Satan. It's like that. What are you talking about? Like in the Christian mentality, like in what you see emerging in the New Testament?
Yeah, like he. So I'm not sure on these references, but I'm sure you are. Like he was the leader of the musicians.
That's not biblical, actually.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you where that was.
It's not
That's it.
biblical.
Maybe the reference of I think
Isaiah
when-
14.
Yeah, when he quotes, he sees them falling from the sky. Like
You, Lucifer, you reached. Actually,
Yeah, it's in Isaiah.
Isaiah 14.
and I think the term Lucifer there is a
Latin.
different root, right?
It's not in the Hebrew text. It's not in anything Jewish.
I think too. Speaking of Job, like the language, I think references even Satan being amongst the sons of God. Like it says right when it says that came to like the courts, and he's like mentioned in the same framing as like the other individuals that would have been there too. Mm-hmm. Versus like I think a lot of times, at least the narrative given to me as a kid was like they all showed up, and then here comes like sneaky Hasatana kind of in on the shadows, and then sort of like starts a barter.
Yes. Did you find that passage, Jonathan? Isaiah 14.
How you are fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning! How you are cut down to the ground, you who weakened the nations! For you've said in your heart, I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of God. I will sit on the mount of the congregation, on the farthest sides of the north. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High. Yet you shall be brought down to Sheol, to the lower depths of the pit. Lowest depths of the pit.
Before you take your thumb out of there, read the first two verses of that chapter.
Of the chapter?
Yep.
For the Lord will have mercy on Jacob, and will choose Israel, and settle them in their own land. The strangers will be joined with them, and they will cling to the house of Jacob. Then people will take them and bring them to their place, and the house of Israel will possess them for servants and maids in the land of the Lord. They will take them captive, whose captives they were, and rule over their oppressors.
That's Isaiah 14?
Yeah.
I think I know where you're going with this.
Yes. Keep going.
Well, it's only a little bit to the Lucifer part. It shall come to pass in the day the Lord gives you rest from your sorrow and from your fear and the hard bondage in which you were made to serve, that you will take up this proverb against the king of Babylon and say,
Nebuchadnezzar.
Yes. How the oppressor has ceased, the golden city ceased. The Lord has broken the staff of the wicked, the scepter of the rulers. He who struck the people with wrath, with a continual stroke. He who ruled the nations in anger is persecuted, and no one hinders. The whole earth is at rest and quiet. They break forth into singing. Indeed, the cypress trees rejoice over you, and the cedars of Lebanon, saying, Since you were cut down, no woodsman has come up against us. Hell from beneath is excited about you, to meet you up at your coming. It stirs up the dead for you. All the chief ones of the earth it has raised up their thrones, and the kings of the nations. They all shall speak and say to you, Have you also become as weak as we have? Have you become like us? Your pomp is brought down to Sheol, and the sound of your stringed instruments. The maggot is spread under you, and worms cover you. How you have fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning. Then into what we said.
So we see that
Stringed
is
instruments.
the king of Babylon.
He was a musician.
And, yeah. But that passage certainly has been used by Christians to kind of, it's a reference. They say it's referencing the story of Satan falling, but if we read it in context, it's talking about King Nebuchadnezzar.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, some of the imagery and wording used in that passage about you reached for the throne of God, but you will be cast down to hell. Do you remember the story of the Baal cycle that we did?
Yeah.
There's a part in that story where, there's this god, I think it's Athiar. He's the god that built Bel's temple for him and whatnot. When Bel gets sent down to hell, this god, who's a smaller god than Bel, tries to go up onto Bel's throne to take his place. And he says, and Isaiah's quoting from the Bel cycle, he says, I will ascend to the throne. I will, sit in Bel's seat. But he goes up there and he falls down because he's too small for Bel's throne. That's that's language in the Bell cycle, and then we see it here in Isaiah. The way they're taught, they're using. What I'm saying is they were using like story imagery that the people were familiar with to talk about the king of Babylon. So we Satan, I think we can all agree to a certain extent that the idea of Satan has it's evolved, it's changed. So anything, culture and its beliefs, it's everything. It's all snowball, right? Well, it started somewhere, and then throughout the process of rolling through time, it just picks up these different ideas. So the main point of what we're going to be doing today is discussing folklore and ideas surrounding the devil, demons, and trickster gods.
Alright, so let's get into the girth of today's episode. Let me adjust this mic a little bit. We're in a different studio, by the way.
Yeah.
The living room of Old Peace here.
The I Studio.
It's the new place. There's a sofa here. It's better. It's an upgrade.
Candles lit.
The girth of today's episode.
Incense burning.
We're going to be talking about... You don't have any incense.
It did smell like that. It smelled like a mixture of incense and hookah when I walked in.
You. So we're going to be talking about the devil, mythology around the...
Trickster god.
So I'm watching Isaiah try to light an incense off this obscenely huge candle. It's a little candle, but the flame is like...
This Yankee candle,
giant.
Schwanky. That's nice.
Hold on, don't tell me what flavor it is.
Think.
Lavender? Yep. Oh man.
Wow. On the money. I've had that Clutch song stuck in my... Oh.
Poppy.
It's your son.
Like
Big Poppy?
opium poppy.
Baseball player?
Is that what Randy calls you?
Opiates. Poppy.
The Wizard of Oz.
So we're gonna be discussing the devil, selling your soul to said devil.
Devil folklore, demon folklore, and trickster god stories.
Here, let me give you that mic so you can say that into it.
Nate Visen left the other microphone at the other studio. Not Jonathan, Nate Visen, just to be clear.
Nate Visen's like our Scott.
Yes, we're going to be reading...
Nate Visen's a dick sometimes. Yeah, so we gotta share mics, so we might have to steal it from each other.
This is going to be fun.
Yeah, it is.
All right. So, the way I kind of see it is like...
I love the smell of poppy.
Everything, any idea, any culture, it's all snowball, Nothing stays the same. Everything starts at a certain point and just kind of rolls through time. And we now, the idea of Satan we have, the idea of Jesus we have, it's all snowball that's been handed to us through time. Ideas come and go, get attached to something. And I kind of see this all... The archetypal idea we have of the devil today, I think it all goes back to trickster gods. Starting out to where, when the Israelites started to reform towards monotheism, I think there was a lot of different ideas that would typically be attributed to a trickster god. That, you couldn't have multiple gods in this idea of one god. So those other gods got turned to angels, and some of the more nefarious gods, they got turned to demons and fallen angels. The mishaps of what would typically be attributed to a trickster god started getting attributed to a demon. And then throughout time, we see develop the idea of Satan that we have today. In the book of Enoch, we have Samael. he's actually there's this revolt of these demons that rebel against God. They come down and they fornicate with the daughters of men, and it says that they teach mankind various arts. They teach astrology, I believe. They teach man how to make weapons, make medicine, and they're punished eventually, but Satan is absent from that story. But we see, as we get closer to the New Testament, this idea of Satan as this fallen angel, enemy of God, is starting to come into fuller effect. Where in the Old Testament, we don't have that. We don't have Satan as an enemy of God, but more of a servant to God. What were you going to say, though, Steeley?
Oh, the interesting story there, too, is like the beautification of women and the makeup.
Yeah.
If I remember right, it also specifically states they put like makeup around their eyes. Mm-hmm. But it's interesting in Egyptian mythology, the makeup around the eyes is very common because of the belief of Horus. And the eye of Horus was both looked at as like Horus was kind of dark, but their thought was if you kept some of that darkness close to you, you would actually have familiarity with it and almost like protection. So that's where the eyeliner in Egyptians kind of originated, was they were actually signifying the eye of Horus.
And it just so happened to bring out the beauty of the eyes.
Oh, yeah. That's my favorite.
I do like some mascara. Yep. Not on myself.
Now, see what makeup is for is women get their cheeks and their noses all rosy to make them look flushed, to make them more attractive to men, because that's more how their faces are going to look while they're having sex.
Oh.
Thank you for that trivia. That little piece of trivia, Jonathan.
You're welcome.
So yeah, just to I was about to break out in a rap. Just to give a recap of Satan in the Old Testament, we have the serpent at the tree of knowledge of good and evil, tempting.
Was that Satan, though?
Eve. I was about to say, that's not necessarily Satan. We see in other mythologies.
Just a serpent.
Yeah, we see.
That could be any old snake.
We see in other mythologies.
That could have been a baby land-dwelling leviathan.
Like, in the Greek creation story, we have Prometheus giving fire to man, and to me, that's kind of like that's that archetype in that story of like the thing that somebody did. It was a combination of the humans and somebody from heaven, just like the serpent in Eden. Prometheus, against the wishes of Zeus, gives fire to man. And it's interesting in the creation story with the tree of knowledge of good and evil. So you have God saying to Adam and Eve, "Do not eat of this tree, for the day you eat of it, you will die." And then, Eve, she's checking out the tree. She's hanging out by it. And then our little friend, the serpent, comes slithering along, and he's like, "Why don't you eat of this tree?" And Eve is like, "Well, God said that if the day we eat of it, not even to..." Actually, Eve adds on not to even look at it. "For the day you eat of it, you'll surely die." And the snake says, "God knows that in the day that you eat of it, you will not die, but you will have knowledge like him." So she finds that sales pitch, to be compelling, and she decides to eat it. And then she's like, "Hey, honey, try this." And he's like, And then they hear God, boom, 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 boom. And then they're like, "Oh, shit, we're naked." And then they hide in a tree, and God's like, "Boom, boom, boom, boom. Where is everybody?" Ageka. That's actually the first, I believe, the first question God asks man in the Old Testament. Where are you? Anyhow, they say
There are some people that say that interaction was not about a fruit, but it was the devil, the serpent, whoever it is, seducing Eve. Have you heard that?
I have heard.
Where's that idea come from?
About it being like a sexual encounter.
Yeah.
I believe that comes from.
Indubitably.
We could look here in the Talmud. I don't think it comes from the Talmud, though. I think that is from. I would say it's probably from Christian theology, Christian thought. I could ask ChatGPT.
That'd be good. On the topic, I can segue into. You mentioned God's giving like fire to man. That's like a recurring story amongst trickster gods across cultures, is them somehow getting fire or forbidden knowledge. One I was going to talk about, I was trying to find less mainstream, was coyote.
Oh, yeah, from Native American folklore.
Yeah.
Coyotes.
And spider, right? Isn't coyote and tarantula, they're two archetypal?
Tarantula, I think, is an
What?
Anani from South or like African lore.
Okay.
I think.
What's
I don't.
so great
I
about
think
something
coyote
you can
and
squish
crow.
with your pinky?
I should don't, because I know he's considered more ruthless. The spider one is more trickster without ever being very much like I'll benefit you.
So real quick, I did have a point that I wanted to make with the Tree of Knowledge.
Oh yeah.
Before somebody yanked my microphone away from me.
Well, speaking of spiders,
Hey, no.
is it?
So the serpent tells Adam and Eve that God was lying about what will happen if you eat of it. And so God's looking for Adam and Eve, and then they come out. They're like, we're like, no, we can't come out. We're naked. And God's like, who told you were naked? And then they're like, the serpent, he tempted us, and we ate of the tree. And actually, here, hand me the Bible. Actually, this is a good Bible.
So speaking of spiders, isn't it Bohemian Grove?
We're throwing
Where-
too many stories at
where-
these people at the same time.
There's this little sign that says like "Weaving spiders come not here." What does that mean? All the conspiracy theorists like to say that it's some kind of spider race of aliens or something.
Maybe it's like that saying, "Oh, what a tangled web we weave when first we practice to deceive."
Interesting.
Wait, what was that?
What says that?
What says that? I don't remember where that quote comes from, but it is a quote.
Isaiah got this for you.
Oh.
Steeley, don't do it.
I was like, that looks pretty yellow.
Okay, to finish the story, God said, who told you were naked? Who told you were naked, God asked. Did you eat of the fruit I told you not to eat? The man answered, the woman you put here with me gave me the fruit and I ate it. It's kind of a pussy move, Adam. The Lord God asked the woman, why did you do this? She replied, the snake tricked me into eating it. Interesting choice of words, Rainbow Catholic Study Bible. Then God said to the snake, you will be punished for this, you alone. All the animals must bear this curse. For now you will crawl on your belly, and you will have to eat of the dust as long as you live. I will make you and the woman hate each other. Her offspring and yours will always be enemies. Her offspring will crush your head, and you will bite her offspring's heel. And he said to the woman, I will increase your trouble in pregnancy. One second. Okay, here is my Here was my main point. Then God said, now these human beings have become like one of us and have the knowledge of what is good and bad. So, that goes to show that he was indeed not telling Adam the truth that the day you eat of it, you will surely die. But the serpent who said, you will have knowledge like God,
He was right.
knowing good and evil. Yes, God at the end of this, he confirms that that was true.
But, if a day is like 1,000 years, and 1,000 years is like a day, Adam indeed did not live to be 1,000 years. So he died that same day in God's eyes.
True. That is true that thought does exist within biblical thinking, but like I don't think we should approach the Bible with univocality, which means like all things put into consideration of what each different author said, because I think various authors at different times, they had some of their own ideas about God and their own ideas they were trying to communicate, to where they didn't all have the same message. So I think if we try to do that, that takes away from what the author was trying to say.
What if, like, why is God asking where he is anyway, as if he doesn't know?
Right.
The other question I have is this: if Eden is perfect, why is the serpent in there to start with?
And
Yeah, to
And-
ruin it.
in other mythologies, like Norse mythology and Greek mythology, we have the gods eating of various fruits from trees that give them long life.
There's also that mysterious tree in Revelations, too, that fruits, like, never wither or whatever,
Well, that I believe is talking about the tree of life.
which
But-
is in heaven.
But my point
So
is,
is the Garden of Eden in heaven?
my point of saying that is that they were like, oh, if they eat of it, they're gonna be like us. And then they were like, we need to remove them from here lest they eat of the tree of life. It's insinuated if you take other cultures into consideration of what their relationship with that tree that's in heaven was for. You know, the gods ate of that to live long. So, God, it's insinuated from this that God was eating of the tree of life and the tree of knowledge. And we just ate God's food.
Impossible if we're in a simulation inside of God's mind. That's just what his avatar apparently eats that was walking around in the garden. Which definitely backs up simulation theory, because otherwise, why wouldn't God know where Adam and Eve were? Because it's just his avatar that's limited by the dimensions that it exists in. Just like a video game character is bound by those invisible walls that you can't see.
Avatar. I like that idea. And I like applying it to old myth and old religion. But I do think that this was a very old way of explaining why the gods were all-knowing or why they lived forever. Because again, you do see this in other cultural tales, other mythologies. You know, the gods, they eat of these trees, and that's why they live eternally. Because, like, you know, the people of old, they had to have these explanations of, well, why do the gods live so long? Well, it's because they eat of these trees.
What's the problem with eating of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil? Why is that threatening? Or why is that such a problem? I mean, I know that any Christian's going to say, well, it's because it's contrary to what God commanded.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yes, but what? And I know who am I to question the decrees of God. But why? What's special about this tree? Why is it so important? Is it insignificant? Like, could it have been like, hey, don't pet any
Pandas.
Yeah, no pandas allowed. No golden retrievers.
You pet the panda, you gotta leave the zoo.
Yeah, like what I'm saying is something insignificant. It's just there had to be a commandment that they had a choice whether or not to break, because otherwise, what's the point in even having free will? Or was there actually something very important about this?
Why was God letting them hang around?
That, like, was it something like, oh, God's like, well, I gave them free will, and I don't want them eating of this tree. And they might exercise their free will, so I at least have to say something and say no.
In, Steeley, do you remember in Mesopotamian mythology, is there something that happens like this to where mankind sins and they're punished by the gods, and is it Enki?
I was going to say there's a similar basis story which kind of mixes Enki and Inanna. And Inanna, like, goes to Enki and she gets him drunk and she sleeps with him, and then she convinces him to give her the May.
The what?
The May. It's confusing. It's spelled M-E, but it's pronounced May. Like,
is that like his seed?
Like a
no. So there's no. No, that's separate from.
It's a severed dick that sprouts trees in life wherever it bleeds while it's flung across the earth.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
There's a story similar. It's actually very interesting that it's similar to the Nephilim. Like, the May are like different abilities, although the categories are much larger. It's like a lot more, but crossover with those. But it was sort of like Enki wasn't supposed to give those away. And I guess in the Sumerian, like, that mythology, it's kind of it's confusing, but the May are like abilities that you can't lose once you've gained the knowledge, but they're almost like something that can be physically held, like a power in an orb. It's kind of weird. But if you gain the knowledge of it, that can't be taken from you. But if you haven't opened it and gained the knowledge, you can lose them. So that's why it was kind of like a big thing in that. But similarly, I've heard there's a really good book called Repenting of Religion, and it does a really cool correlation of, like, the tree of knowledge and good and evil was actually giving you the knowledge to have the ability to judge people. So, like, that's what made you like God. You then thought you were able to be like God and judge people's hearts and measure, like, right from wrong. And I always thought, like, the book's really, really good, like, wherever you stand. But I always liked that theory.
So, but was it seen as, like, what did he do, per se, Enki, in that story?
If I'm remembering right, I think Enki initially tricked Enlil, which, if I'm remembering right, is his older brother who's more powerful, and that's how he got them. So it was never supposed to be. Inanna ended up giving them and bestowing them to people, and that's why it was like such a big thing. It was supposed to only be knowledge that the gods held.
I see.
So it is similar in that regard.
Yeah, it seems very similar. And so maybe I think it's best to think of the story of the tree of knowledge of good and evil and the serpent in the sense of a god. Like, this is a god or some sort of at least heavenly being. It's like because we also have Enki. I believe he's the one to go to warn the people about the flood in Mesopotamia. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So where he was in that sense defying the other gods by warning of the judgment that they're bringing upon the people.
It's like Gilgamesh.
Mm-hmm. And like Prometheus, he angered Zeus by giving fire to the humans. Mm-hmm. So perhaps we could see what the serpent was doing as a way to aid or help. That's kind of like how Gnostics interpret that story. You know, they view the serpent as Jesus coming to give light to the Adam and Eve who were in a fake paradise. And the tree of knowledge of good and evil and open their eyes to that. That's also the way Satanists interpret that story, is that he's an archetypal bringer of light, Satan is.
Isn't the original Hebrew too for serpent arguably translated as like shining one?
Yeah, I think it's Nechash.
That sounds right. So, like, I can't remember how that was even translated to, like, utilize the serpent where that crossover happened, but
And I'm coming at this from the thought that in the old forms of the Bible, in the old stories like this in Genesis, it's coming from a henotheism. There were thought of to be other gods involved, like when it talks about the sons of God going and breeding with the daughters of men. There were other gods, and so I believe this serpent would be best thought of as one of those gods. What? I think I've hogged it enough, though. What are some of the trickster god stories that you're going to share today?
Oh,
Loki
yeah.
a trickster?
Oh, yeah, and there's one I definitely want to share with Loki in it.
I feel like he's probably the most infamous, right? Especially with Marvel. Like, Marvel really bringing that to light. Yeah.
I've yet to see any movie with Loki in it.
So no spoiler
Sorry
alerts
to
for
say.
Jonathan.
You've never seen any of the Thor movies?
I don't think so.
Oh, wow. The Thor
Just
ones
the
are
Avengers,
definitely worse.
yeah.
Oh. Well, Loki was in Avengers.
He's the main villain.
I mean, he's in it, but he doesn't have a very important role.
That's true.
He's the main
He
villain.
just shows up here and he's a pussy. He's whiny.
We do know. We do.
Can't get over his family. It's pathetic. That is
We
no
do
secret.
know that he was actually being used as a puppet to Thanos at this time.
Well, some of us haven't seen that movie since it came out. So,
No spoiler
I've seen all
alerts.
of them.
some of your beard hairs are turning gray.
Oh yeah.
Look at that. You're an old man now.
But so trickster god stories, and then I'll do my demon folklore, and then Grandpa Jonathan will tell us some lore of those who sold their souls to El Diablo.
For fame, riches, success, women, friends, popularity, whatever.
Glory. Yeah, I was gonna do a less mainstream one with Coyote.
Peyote?
No, just Coyote. Probably Peyote helped create No, I know. I know Coyote and Crow. Or you were right. It's Iktomi that is the spider, but I think it's Anansi. Anyway, so a similar story of like Coyote being trickster, but he would kind of benefit mankind at times.
Who is Coyote?
He, like in Native American folklore, was normally seen as a hybrid. So he'd have like upper body of a coyote and a man, or sometimes just a straight up coyote. It was, but a lot of his stories involved shooting a bow into the sky and creating like a ladder, and then he would go up there to find forbidden knowledge. So one of them. Yeah, that's one with fire. If I'm remembering correctly, he takes Beaver with him after making this staircase to heaven, or like to the realm up there of the gods, and he serves as a distraction for Beaver to steal the fire to give to humans. So that's their story of how they got fire the first time.
So he's helping them again.
Yes.
I'm telling you,
listening to
man,
this are gonna be
tricksters are good.
I listened to the recent episode of Peace and Toodles, and they're saying Satan's actually good.
Well, now we're saying tricksters are good too. Because think about it, all their tricks, either they're in it for a couple laughs or they're actually trying to teach people a lesson somehow.
There's another story showing though Coyote of being a little more like for himself. This is a really weird story too.
Good.
Where he's like walking along a field and he sees these happy, like talking, these flowers, and I believe they were rose hips, and he's like, oh, I'm gonna eat these, and they're like, don't eat us, or else you will have like the worst gas distress of your whole life. And he's like, I don't care, I'm gonna eat them anyways. So he eats them, and sure enough, I mean, he is just like, he's about to explode from all this buildup of gas he has. And he's walking along, and he sees two crows eating a buffalo. And he's like, I wonder how I can get this buffalo. So he challenges them to whoever
Why would
can.
he want it?
He wants to eat it, because that's what they're doing. They're eating it, and it had died. So he challenges them to see who can poop the farthest. And the crow are like, well, what's in it for us? He's like, well, if you can, I'll leave you guys alone. You can keep your buffalo. If not, I get it. So obviously he's just bursting at the seams right now. So one of the crow poops. It's not very far. Then Coyote does, and obviously he just blows them out of the water. And they're like, dang, we lost. They're like, please at least leave us some of it. He's like, okay, you guys can have the fat from around the eyes and like the gristle in between the knee joints. Like he gives them just the worst part that he can and keeps the rest for himself. So he like tricked them out of something they had. And I think like a lot of times people say it's highlighting human nature of like sometimes people, if you're gonna play a game, they might have an upper arm.
That sounds fair and square to me, you stupid crows. I mean, you made a deal over a competition, you lost.
Yeah.
I mean, if they were really smart, they're crows. They would have went flying out into the sky, a mile in the air, and then they could be like, we just pooped a whole mile.
That'd be true.
Nope. Stupid. I thought crows are supposed to be smart, too.
They are. They're one of the smartest animals.
Yeah.
All these
I
ones.
always think of Ace Ventura with that.
I was done. You can have the mic. It's okay. Are there any more tricksters?
There are a lot of other tricksters. Those were kind of the main stories. I was going to try and keep it less, because obviously a lot of people are familiar with Loki. And when I was digging around, I was like, Coyote?
In the show Supernatural, they have a couple of tricksters, and their very first encounter with one is see, the names don't mean anything because this guy's an archangel.
Mm-hmm.
So he has the powers of tricksters. It's, who is it, Mike? No.
Uriah?
No.
Raphael? Gabriel?
Gabriel. Yeah, it's Gabriel.
Oh.
And he the main characters, Sam and Dean, they all of a sudden get put into this false reality, and they don't even know it's false until some weird, screwy things, like repetitions, start happening. Like walking, and then just weird things happen that shouldn't happen. Walking through a door to a barn, but they walk into a restaurant kind of stuff. And come to find out in the end, the trickster, Gabriel, he was just trying to teach them a lesson. Through these false realities, he was separating them. The lesson they learned, whether it's important or not, he's like, you're too dependent on each other. Like, you're better warriors, you're stronger when you don't let your relationship with each other, like, hinder your intelligence, like, going forward. Like, you let if one of y'all goes missing, the other one's, like, suicidal, trying to find them. That's not good for you. So, in the end, it was a trickster, and he's just trying to teach them a lesson.
Yeah.
And the only other tricksters in the show are just messing with their powers just for jokes. So that's like the only two dynamics that they painted into them.
It's to like reveal something about like the absurdity of a situation, or it's to reveal something about the situation. In the past year I've been doing some creative writing, some fictional writing, and I'm working on this story. I'm not going to tell too much about it, but it's basically like it's mixing myth with like the simulation idea, right? And so there's this trickster god character I'm working on. He's like a architect, and he's just in an avatar in the simulation. But his role that he plays, it's more so he's tricking the other gods, because he's, in a certain sense, he's revealing things to help the people trapped in the simulation.
Like that.
But, and that's kind of like a Gnostic, in the Gnostic idea, with Jesus becoming the serpent and coming here to reveal. In a certain sense, the trick is being played on the demiurge, who's trying to keep us trapped and keep us fooled.
So the demiurge is the trickster.
In that sense, perhaps, of...
So tricksters are the most powerful things there are. Huh?
That's an interesting one, because even like Enki is technically weaker, but then he tricks like his stronger brother. Mm-hmm. So it's like, well, then who is the strongest if he can trick him?
And it's something that you see with a variety of different gods in mythology. Is like they're kind of, if a god can outwit the other god, maybe the god's more physically imposing, but.
I remember in school once, some kids were picking on me like they always do to the small guy. And I grabbed myself a stick out of the woods. So our school had a little woods right there. And then they kept picking on me because I'd make them all run away because I was swinging it like my life depended on it. And one of the kids like, oh, Jonathan's only tough when he's got a stick in his hands. And you know what my answer was? Like, no, I'm the only one that was smart enough to grab one.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's a good comeback.
Kind of reminds me
Which makes me the strongest, doesn't it?
Kind of reminds me of your song "When the Lights Go," or Nate Visen's song "When the Lights Go Out." Something about people being smart enough to think ahead and prepare for.
Exactly.
Yeah.
See, Nate Visen's ahead of the curve, man.
You gotta have your stick in your hands.
Who said that quote? Speak softly and carry a big stick.
I don't know who said that. It's true though.
Exactly.
It's true.
I think it was Roosevelt.
I think you're right. We're gonna go off that. Yeah.
Did we? Never mind. Sorry.
So like, okay. So what are you doing?
Turning his mic up. He's sitting 10 feet away from it. He started right on it.
I think with these trickster gods, you see that like some of them they were revealing a hidden, it was almost to help somebody out, show them the absurdity of a situation. I think you see it was not yet, it hadn't developed yet that this idea of evil, just totally malevolent evil for the sake of evil, that is like there didn't exist yet this idea of God having these enemies that their sole purpose is, they were part of the pantheon. They would just, that's what they were known for, their cunning, their trickery.
I wonder if that has anything to do with the ones that try to make deals with you, like to sell your soul for fame or for whatever. Maybe they're trying to just win souls and to show how deceiving and trickstery they are.
Do you have any good stories of those?
So I don't have any stories of it actually happening because nobody can confirm nor deny anything. There's just a bunch of songs about it, like a ton of songs about it. They all go back, like people like.
I think the first one was like a violinist in like the 1700s.
Who sang that song, Number of the Beast? Like Iron Maiden?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So obviously there's songs that's pretty blatant about their fondness for the devil.
That's how you take it?
Of course that's how I take it. But then, you got people...
I see it as like people, songwriters, capitalizing on satanic panic.
There's also with the soul selling deal of it all. A lot of artists say stuff that, I sold my soul to this music to get this fame, to put this work in. Is that an analogy for all the hard work and sweat, blood, and tears that went into it? Like look at all this time and sanity and peacefulness at night that I sacrificed to get where I'm at. I gave up the better part of my life for this. So, you could make that connection of selling your soul, of just the price that you had to pay was very big, even though it's not actually your soul. But it does have an effect on your soul because it is draining to put that kind of work into something. And then you have other people that are a little more open about it. I bring them up every time, so I got to talk about them here.
Robert Johnson's like the archetypal.
Well, there's that old song from the 60s, too, it's about a deal at the Crossroads for
I
fame.
think it's Robert Johnson.
Yeah. And you got stuff like my favorite, Eminem. I can't go without mentioning. I forget the song, but he's got this little line. It's like I sold my soul to the devil and never get it back. I just want to leave this game with my level head intact. And it's just, my darling. I think it is.
Huh.
Where it's the whole song is him and his dark demon voice in his head going back and forth. Like, this music's so good for you, I gave you everything. Like, you can never leave me. And Eminem's like, I don't like this decision. I just want to get out of this alive and sane. But I gave up everything I had for this music. And Chris Webby's got this song. It's on the Lost Wednesdays album somewhere. It's one of those songs. He has this... So the concept for that album was he went back and dug a bunch of old songs that he recorded years ago that he never used, and he released them. Some of them he redid, revitalized, remixed, or recorded extra verses for it. But on this one, it was this old song singing about how there's these demons inside him that are influencing him. And he goes and plays that old stuff, and then his new one comes in and it's like, this was me writing about stuff that I didn't know anything about back then. But now I see that at the higher levels of this game, of entertainment, they actually are making those baby sacrifices. They actually are drinking baby's blood. They actually are selling their souls for fame. He says it very, very directly. I'll have to play you the song.
Yeah, I was going to say. I have my speakers right there. If we could play a song and it come through awfully clear.
And then get took down for copyright claims.
But my thought about, at least in the 70s, the 80s, you know, when Ozzy Osbourne was biting the heads off bats, and you had a lot of satanic panic going around. And nowadays, it's not so much satanic panic as it is conspiracy theories, you know, about the elites and the higher ups and what's really going on and what aren't they really telling us. And I just feel like a smart artist always capitalizes on the lore of the land.
That's how Slayer was. They're probably one of the most notorious metal bands for using a lot of imagery, and they're like, yeah, we just did it because it freaked people out and made us sell more records. Mm-hmm. But none of them were like, yeah, we're Satanists. They're like, man, we just used that to scare people.
Because, like, for me, I think who would they really be? Because I see, like, the idea of Satan, you know, in the Christian sense, as it's like a snowball of, like, these ideas. You know, starting out as a trickster god, and then turning into angel, who's God's he sends him to punish and exact vengeance and tempt and whatnot. And then that evolves into a more nefarious being who's the lord of the demons and the lord of hell, the Antichrist, the god of this world. And, you know, then so we have that turns into, you know, all the lore we have about it, and then we have these stories of people selling their soul to the devil. But I see the devil in that sense, so I don't know how else to plug that idea in other than, you know, the explanation of just using capitalizing on the lore, because who else could they be doing a deal with if not?
That's what I was wondering too, because speaking of, like, Tool, very famously, Danny Carey is a very high Mason, and his dad was. He actually, with his...
Which instrument does he play?
Drums. And the pattern specifically that he uses on drums, he attributes to sacred geometry, and he's considered one of the, like... But they all are kind of woo-woo, and... Or however you want to say it. But they literally say that they captured a demon in their studio and have it trapped, and that they channel it to make albums. Yeah.
Bro, I've heard stories that...
Like... People, when he says he's a legit Mason, that's like, what is that then? Is there energy you can harness? Or sometimes I'm like, is it people got autism and it freaks other people out and they're like, well, that's the devil. I don't know.
I've heard of some high production, like high dollar recording studios having rooms above the recording room with ritualistic altars set up so that they can channel energy while they're recording different artists.
Would you ever know what artists have said that?
It was some talks around my audio school on a bunch of the instructors and stuff that say it.
Interview the people.
So I found this Chris Webby song.
We
I was
have
just
to
talking
interview
about.
Tool somehow. No.
Yes. Should have asked Sonny, honestly.
Want to check out these lyrics?
Yeah.
Because I got them for you after I close this ad. So he sings this first verse and chorus. It's back in like 2015. He finishes this song 9 years later. And he adds this to it. He says, looking back at the song in the present, I said some shit, but never really meant it. I was just an angry adolescent, using words that I look back at with resentment. Because now I've seen the darkness on this planet. Watch these rappers around me go satanic. Watch the demons rise to power. It's taken me some years to fully understand it. But they really do be influencing people. And they really do be making sacrifices. They grew celebrities to do their evil. Sell your soul ain't just a phrase, it's what the price is. You're suicided if you go against it, 'cause once they're clawing you, there ain't no exit. You just follow orders and you'll get rewarded. All you gotta do is spread the devil's message. With their sacrificial goats, grab and slit their throats, bleed them in a glass to lift and give a toast. Hidden killers slipping in the cloaks, television hosts, politicians and musicians singing lyrics that the children quote, influential motives, rituals, and goals. Once they got your soul, they'll never give it back, so I took a different path back when I was in the chorus, young and stupid.
So, what do you think's going on there? What do you think he's talking about?
Well, that song came after, like I said, 9 years when he started, and that wasn't 2014 wasn't his start. Like, he's got albums back from 2011, and before that it goes years and years back too. He's got a whole album on YouTube, and before that he was on this old website for hip-hop, datpiff.com, and he's had years and years, of just experience. He's had features with everybody, and as far as the underground game, he's one of the better lyricists that there are. And it's kind of like Tech 9, man. If you're around and rap, he's probably heard you. Mm-hmm. So it's just going off over 15 years of experience in the industry for this guy. I don't know. Well, who knows? Maybe he's just writing a song. I could write a song like that easy enough because it's something I think about so much, but
right.
I haven't, because I'm not going to say something's that way when I don't have any idea.
I have that album, that idea that we've talked about before, which involves, much lore around selling your soul to the devil. That
and the hellhounds coming and getting you when the prices, the terms are come to.
I don't believe in that, but I think it's it's an avenue for creating a artistic story, with just using lore and myth that exists out there.
I wonder if hellhounds originated from Cerberus.
Probably.
Okay, I'm curious about that.
I wonder what the oldest reference to hellhounds are.
That is, I did find the earliest reference for somebody selling their soul. Not to usurp you. It says, Theophilus of Adana, first clear pact with the devil. This is usually regarded as the earliest recorded story of an explicit soul-selling deal. Theophilus was a cleric who supposedly made a pact with the devil through a necromancer to gain a higher church office. It's interesting.
Interesting.
He later regretted it, prayed to the Virgin Mary, and was saved. His legend spread widely in medieval Europe and is often seen as the prototype for the Faust story. That was 6th century Common Era.
I think I'd heard that story before.
Does a Faust one? I think I heard of it, but I won't go down that much of a rabbit hole.
And how did he get in that situation through necromancing, huh?
Yeah, through a necromancer.
Because there have been through in the Catholic Church and in Judaism, in these different world power religions, there always have been these stories of rabbis summoning demons or putting the ashes of the afterbirth of a firstborn cat over your eyes. So there is like in the Talmud. I'm gonna read some demon lore
We should still try that.
and there's a early Christian text. It's called the Testament of Solomon, where there's this that they're building the temple, and the head servant behind the labor, he becomes ill, and things are going wrong in his life, and the construction on the first temple ceases, and Solomon, he's praying, and the archangel Michael gives King Solomon this ring, from which with the ring he can rule all demons. So with the ring he summons the demon who, and it turns out there was this demon afflicting the head servant of the temple, and King Solomon brings him forth with the ring. He interrogates him, and then with the ring he forces him to go work on the temple. And so all throughout the story, he's summoning demons from all over the world, and he's like, what are you in charge of? And they say, I'm in charge of such and such thing, and then he puts them on work, building the temple. And so the whole temple is constructed by demons that under the control of this ring that King Solomon had, of which he summoned the demons. The book is the Testament of Solomon. And in this you see some demons who they're the demon of basically typos. And this you see this demon in history. There was this. It was during the writing of the King James. This was in the years ago, but they had a typo where it said "Thou shalt commit adultery," and some church fathers attributed that to a particular demon who he's the demon of typos, of misspellings. Yeah.
In that story, isn't there one where it's like a lady demon that specifically has hours of the night that she tries to lure women, young men?
Lilith.
That's Lilith.
Is it Lilith? Okay, that's...
So she can have little demon babies by stealing your semen.
Oh, snap.
There's let me find it.
Sorry, let me get in the mic. So she can have little demon babies with their semen that she steals.
That sounds about right. There's
Rabbi, this is in the Talmud. Rabbi Hana said, "It is forbidden to sleep in a house alone, for he who sleeps in a house alone is seized by Lilith, the night demon." So, archaeologists have found many of these little plates that are buried beneath thresholds of these houses all throughout Israel, Mesopotamia area, where the plates have names of the archangels, and at the center of it they have Lilith. It was a plate that they buried at the threshold of their house for warding off Lilith from coming into their house. And people would wear these pendants. It was very popular all throughout history for people to wear pendants with the names of archangels on them for warding off certain demons.
Mm-hmm.
So if you get all the names of the archangels tattooed on yourself, are you safe from everything?
Maybe.
To be a lot of tattoos. That's my favorite era of history where they thought they had artifacts from the saints. Each church had one.
Oh yeah.
I have the knuckle bone of Saint John.
There's one where they believe it to be the foreskin of Jesus.
Gosh.
I believe they put it on people's lips for there's a blessing they do. They put it on seriously. They put it on people's lips.
I'm not surprised.
All right, I'm going to read some passages, some demon lore from the Talmud, and then we'll wrap up this episode. Demons were created at twilight, on the eve of the first Sabbath. So, there's this story. Let the earth bring forth living creatures. These, according to Rabbi Judah, the patriarch, were the demons. The Holy One created their souls, but when he was about to create their body, the Sabbath sanctity began, and he would not create them. So there's in a lot of Talmudic lore, it depicts Yahweh very, very human-like. Like, it mentions him, like it circumcised himself to demonstrate to Abraham what to do. And also he observes the Sabbath. And so you see him here in this demon lore. He's creating creatures, but he didn't have time to create the rest of them before the Sabbath. And so that's where demons come from in this sense. There's going to be a... So when I say the Talmud says, like, the Talmud, it's a collection of different rabbinical sayings. And this is from the Sefer Agada, which is like, it's the story and lore of the Talmud. So there's going to be a variety of different opinions. So you can't say the Talmud says necessarily, because the Talmud says a variety of different things. Rabbi Jeremiah ben Eleazar said, in all the years that Adam was under the ban, he begot evil spirits, male demons and female demons. For it is said, Adam lived 130 years and begot son in his own likeness, after his own image. From which it follows that until that time, the end of 130 years, he did not beget after his own image. Our masters taught 6 things said concerning demons in regard to 3. They are like ministering angels, and in regard to 3, they are like human beings. In regard to 3, they are like ministering angels. They have like wings like ministering angels. They fly from worlds to world's end like ministering angels. And like ministering angels, they can hear what goes on behind the curtain of heaven. In regard to 3, they are like human beings. They eat, drink like human beings, and they increase and multiply like human beings, and they die like human beings. Interesting. So this has demons dying.
And being born of Abraham?
Mm-hmm. Adam.
You think those are the babies that he had with Lilith? And that's why they were demons? Since that was supposedly his first wife before Eve anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Before she got all but hurt and left. And then God's like, I'll make you.
Perhaps that it definitely is believed that Lilith is the mother of demons. Like there's stories, like there's lore of her, becoming to men in their wet dreams, and that's like when you ejaculate, that's Lilith taking your seed. She's a succubus demon, and so an incubus demon would be one that gets somebody pregnant.
Does that happen?
What?
Does that happen? People get pregnant one night just from nothing?
Aliens.
Supposedly.
Okay, I'm only going to do a few more. One rabbi used to say, at first I used to say that people should not sit under a drain pipe in order to being drenched with wastewater. But then my master told me it is because demons are present there. So you're going to see in some ways that demons were attributed to like some things that I think people just didn't understand long ago. There's a story of porters carrying a cask of wine, wishing to rest. They put it under a drain pipe, and the cask burst. So they came to Marbar Ashi, who brought ram's horns and exorcised the destructive creature, which then appeared in his presence. Then he asked the demon, "Why did you do this?" The demon replied, "What else could I have done since they put the cask at my ear? What business do you have in a place where there are many people? Since you have departed from what is prescribed for you, go and reimburse the porters." The demon said, "If the masters would fix the time right now, when I am to pay them, I will do so." So the rabbi said, he said a fixed time, but then the time came, the demons were not there. When he did come, the rabbi asked him, "Why did you not come at the time that we agreed upon?" The demon replied, "We have no right to take anything that is tied up, sealed, and measured or counted. So I had to wait until I found money that was ownerless, and I can bring you." So that's talking anything that's not like, so like anything that would go missing, maybe like just a little loose stuff. It's demons taking it.
Demons take a lot of socks.
It's another reason to put the jar on food when you're.
What'd you say that name for the serpent was in Genesis? Shining one?
Mm-hmm. Nachash, I think.
I wonder if you just wasn't bound by time like God isn't. And he just had like a cell phone or something from the future. And they saw that in his hand glowing. They called him a shining one.
Oh.
They thought he had this power because of this technology that he had.
That would make sense.
Yeah. So where exactly would God have been circumcised if they think that God circumcised himself?
His penis, of course.
No, like where in the Bible? Like where in the timeline?
Oh, when he showed Abraham
Showed him what?
how to circumcise.
It was God himself that showed him? It wasn't an angel that he sent?
Mm-mm. I don't know if I could find the story in here, but it is in the Talmud. It also talks about God's daily schedule. You know, in the mornings he responds to blessings, and in the evening it says that he plays with his pet, the Leviathan. So this depicts God in a very human-like function.
Interesting.
All right. Yes. So let's. How about we wrap up this episode?
Get into our last segment.
Listen up.
Well, this week I got a different one than my normal rap suggestions.
Oh.
Does anybody here like acapella?
No.
Well,
I hate it, actually.
Oh my good. Acapella hater.
it's not quite acapella, but he's up there with these voice groups that do covers, you know, like Pentatonics and Home Freeze, kind
heard
of a
of
country version. Gotta shout out Jeff Casalucci. Geoff, Jeff. He's the bass singer for Voice Play, and he does a lot of solo stuff, and it's uncomprehendable the notes that this man's voice can hit.
Interesting.
It is insane. Jeff Casalucci.
My suggestions would be I Am the Antichrist to You by Kishibashi.
Okay, then listen to Antichrist by Eminem, too.
My other one would be
Marilyn Manson.
Marilyn Manson. Which one?
This is what is the? Is it the new shit?
Sympathy for the Devil by Motorhead. That's a good one. He does a cover of Sympathy for the Devil. I would check it out. It's pretty good.
Falling in Reverse.
If you like old biker type metal. Popular Monster by Falling in Reverse.
That's track number 2. It's a
Pretty popular one.
Newest album, the most recent album.
Devil Like Me by Rainbow Kitten. Surprise. I'm just dishing out a whole bunch of devil songs. What about you, Steeley?
For anybody my age, which is 30 at the time for this recording, anybody remember Crazy Frog?
I actually showed a friend's kid's Crazy Frog.
Whoop, there it is.
Oh, that's. I'll go
And Axel
Clutch.
F.
I want to say Clutch from Beale Street to Oblivion.
The band Clutch?
Yeah.
Oh, hot doggy. Hot doggy. Yeah, they're a good band.
Yeah, I saw them once with the sword.
I saw them once with...
Me too, the sword.
I saw them last fall. They're pretty good.
Yeah, they are good.
Burning Beard by Clutch. That's a good one.
So was The Regulator. That was on The Walking Dead.
Space Grass.
Yeah. When I saw them, there was a super drunk or super high guy, and that's all he kept yelling the whole play space class.
I think they did it at mine. They did a good one. They were mostly from most of the songs they did was from the album that I think had Ghost on it.
Oh, okay. They actually encored with Soap Makers when we saw them, which I guess is really rare. That was one of my favorite songs. Very good.
I love Clutch.
Well,
all right. Well, let's keep traversing this strange world with
inquisitiveness
and curiosity.
and a little bit of swag.
A little bit nuzzled in there because, you can be learning and you can be neighborly, but if you neglect the swag, people just...
It's not the same.
What? Anything you want to land in there, Steely?
I just always add humility, I reckon.
Yep. Let's remember to be humble.
Because at the end of the day,
Well, no. Let's remember to be neighborly to folks. Because at the end of the day, we're all just...
strangers in a strange land.
Let's do that. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Strangers in a strange land. All right. We're sharing our microphone. All right. Until next time. Peace.
Toodles.
Steel.
If you would like to contact us, email us at peaceandtoodles@gmail.com. Until next time, salutations, my fellow strangers.
What will they think of next?